All right, STEM Academy Juniors. This is Mr. Barry. I'm here to introduce class project stuff for this year. I am recording this meeting just to make sure that everybody that might need to access this later can do so. So we're going to get through how class projects are going to run this year and what the junior class project consists of, and I'm going to jump right into it. So that document that's been shared there in the chat is what we're starting with right here. This is our intro and the class project details for 2020 and 2021. There we go. That was a lot of 20s. Sorry. The first thing we're going to look at is this class project master spreadsheet. I have to trust that y'all can read the rest of this as juniors and that you can check out this information in more detail later as you need to. But this class project master spreadsheet will take you to this right here. You'll want the junior tab down at the bottom, and this shows you your groups right here. So all of your groups are outlined right there, along with who your STEM teacher mentor is, and then a couple folder links. And I'm going to explain what all those are in just a moment as well. But that's something that's really important there. And this explanatory video will show you everything, how to use the document that we're looking at right now and where all the different parts are. If you need to come back to this later on, you can do that there. Okay, so things you need to do is follow these steps here as far as creating a student contact info sheet and sharing it with your group. But all of you within your groups have a couple things available to you now. You have your mentors folder that has a meeting guideline that you can use to meet with your teachers, your mentor teacher if you need to, and also a slide right here that most importantly has in it, whenever it loads, a Google Meet. This Google Meet link right here is something that's open from 12 to 1 p.m. every day for you to actually go to a location to collaborate with your group. I realize that's going to be the most difficult thing this year. So if you and your group members are like, okay, we can meet on Thursday, but we don't know where to go, you can use these links for your STEM mentor teacher to go to this Google Meet, and then you can all be in one spot there and have a meeting place to work on stuff. Okay? Beyond that, within your groups, let's say again, I'm going to use this group because I'm their mentor. This group right here also has this folder J1. It is already shared with all of the members of that group. Okay? That folder is where you'll save all of your documents. Where when you make a copy of this student contact info sheet, you can save it in there. You can all put your contact info in there. And that way it's viewable only to your group members. You'll save all portions of your project in there. That will be your spot as a group to save all of your materials. It is already shared with all of the people in your group. I have gone through and shared each of these folders with each of the people listed in your group. So you already have access to it. You already have edit right access to it. And so does your mentor teacher. Okay? So that's where we'll get started with that stuff. I'll let y'all read the rest of this intro, but this talks about you reaching out to your group members and making sure you've contacted them and that you know how to get a hold of them in the future and how to set up your first meeting. Your first meeting should include this project intro. And this is a game that's put out by the EPA called Generate. And you'll each get a card, you'll each get some resources, you'll get to allot them however you feel like you need to, and it will get you making some decisions to try to properly and efficiently use some energy resources. It's kind of similar to the freshman class project, but it's our way of getting you introed with your group and working with your group members and things like that to get started here, as opposed to doing one of those, hi, I'm so-and-so, and this is my favorite color type activities that everyone hates. This is kind of a fun way to do this, at least then, okay? So that's what will get you started here as far as being introduced to your group. The major dates here are the ones specific to all class projects. So by the 3rd, we'd like you to have this class intro done and saved in your folder. Really starting tomorrow and through May 18th are your project work times. So that's when you'll be able to go and complete the steps of your project. And this is when the deadlines for your specific junior project will fall. The 18th is when everything needs to be done and saved in that folder dedicated to your group so that I can access it and prepare the STEMposium website. And that will be live the 25th through the 27th. Okay? So that's this general document. Things that you'll need are to find out where your group is and your communication pieces for your group, your intro activity, and then your specific junior project. And I'm going to run through the junior project in just a moment. I'll give you all a quick chance to ask any questions about how communication or anything like that will work this year. But I think for the most part, we can probably jump into what your project is unless there are specific questions. You missed a little bit here. Yep. which is your group. If you can't find your group, now this is all being recorded, Will, so you'll be able to view this recording later for anything you missed. If you can't find your group, you can go to this tab, check the junior tab right here, hit Control F, and then you can search for your name. So if I search for Barry, it shows me right where Barry is located. So if you search for your name, you should find that pretty easily. If you can't find your name, please send me an email and I will check out and see where it is that you're supposed to be at. Okay? Now I'm going to jump over and explain the junior project. Y'all have seen these types of documentations before. You understand, at least to some degree, what these class project documents look like, the different portions of it and everything else. So I'm going to run through this fairly quickly with y'all just to make sure you see the basics of your overall project. So your freshman year, you focus on energy and an energy portfolio of a certain country. Last year, y'all focused on recycling and the sustainability and energy kind of duo that goes into that type of thing. Is it worth the energy that goes into the recycling process, so forth and so on. This year, we're mainly going to focus on sustainability. So we went from energy to both to sustainability here for your junior project. Now, the other great thing here is that your freshman year, we gave you one topic. Last year, you got to choose between two. This year, you're going to have a lot of choice in your project. And then your senior year, you're going to get all of the choice, basically. You're going to define your project for your senior year capstone project, okay? Now, this right here, there's an explanatory video up here at the top that just explains this whole document. So if you ever need to, you can go back and look at this. This is probably like a 3-ish minute long video that will go through this stuff also. But what we're looking for right now is really how to define and understand sustainability, okay? First, this right here, whenever there's a project or an image like this in these documents, you can click on it and there is a sustainability or a video relating to whatever it's explaining there. I would suggest everybody take a look at that as a good intro here, okay? But as juniors in the STEM Academy, it's time to take more control of your class project. Your task this year is to inform the public of the misnomers associated with sustainability and the actions they can take to overcome these obstacles. Your choices as to how to do so will be driven by your group. What really matters is that you make an impact. So you'll first address how a lazy person, right here, that lazy person, can help save the world. Then further develop one of the United Nations global goals for sustainable development, and finally present your proposal for making the world more sustainable to the public. Now, y'all, I've got to say, having put together this project and gone through it a couple times, seeing what students have done for this project in particular, this junior project, has changed the way I do a lot of things in my life, honestly. So this is a really good one for like small little things that seem to y'all in a lot of cases to not make a big difference. But when one person saves 5% of the waste that they put out there from something, we have 300+ million people in this country alone. If each person saved 5% of their waste, that's entire landfills not being filled. Okay, that is a huge deal, a huge deal. Okay, so keep this kind of stuff in mind. This can be a big impact and help you make a big impact in the future. So 2 portions to this. 1, the lazy person's guide to saving the world. 2, the global goals for sustainable development put out by the, well, this one's, they're both the UN. They're both the UN. Yes, they're both the UN. Sorry, brain fart there. All right, so here are our Academy connections and why it is that we're doing this. 2 parts to this. 1, motivating a lazy person. This will explain what you're going to do. There is a link here to this full document. And what you do at this point is there are 4 different levels. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. For each one, there's a number of different things that you could do here. You're going to pick one from each level and actually implement it. Okay? And you're going to need to document your implementation of it as you do it. And I'll explain how you'll document that in a moment, okay? So that's part 1. Part 2, you need to address a global sustainable development goal. Now, these are very large scale. So this is going to be a lot harder for you to effectively implement without any sort of resources, honestly. So instead, you'll put out a proposal for it, and that's what you'll share, all right? So now right here is the link that you'll look for this one. This will take you to the Sustainable Development Goals put out by the UN. And as you scroll down, first you see an intro to this as a whole. But you see all these different goals here. Goal 1, no poverty. 2, zero hunger. 3, good health and well-being. And there's all kinds of different goals, right? Affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth. And you see as they spin and make you a little nauseous here for each one, you can read a lot more about each one right here. So this is where you'll start looking through and seeing which one you want to choose as a group for here. You'll pick one of these as a group. So one total of those, okay? And your job here, well, the rest of how you'll address this will be put right here. But the goal is to make a significant gain in the field of a solution. Now, you'll propose that solution, not necessarily implement, just because of the scale of it, okay? Now, you need to document your implementations. That's going to look different for these two different parts. For part 1, you need to actually do it. Show me doing those things that are on here, right? If you say stop paper bank statements and pay your bills online or via mobile, right? That's the second one listed up here in part 1. Show evidence of you doing that, of you setting that up, of you getting less mail and thus having less waste, okay? Video evidence is what we'll be looking for. For part 2, it will be more like a presentation of your potential solution. So you'll put together more of a standard presentation and include that there on the bigger scale. All right. This will go into one video as a whole. That's going to be almost like a PSA, a public service announcement that helps share with the local community here. And I will share a lot of them out via Twitter and other methods to show them ways that you as teenagers can make a difference. And when adults my age who say, yeah, it doesn't make as big a deal, that's something that we've heard a lot, see how easy a lot of this can be, and that y'all as teenagers can do this stuff and be the leaders of this, it will make people change the way that they've done things. I've had a lot of parents in the past reach out and say, I watched my kid do this project, and we've changed the way our household runs to make it more sustainable, which I think is really cool. And that means that y'all are having a big impact on your own parents, which is really cool. And so your final presentation here will be not just that video, that PSA, but you'll still put together your end presentation here, okay? So you'll still do your posters, but it should be largely images of what you've done and explanations and things like that, maybe graphs that show exactly how it is that you've analyzed this, this result. Now, it mentions that in here. So again, you're going to need to read all of this stuff, but students should mathematically analyze the effect of their chosen implementations, okay? If you choose take shorter showers, go explain how taking a 5-minute instead of a 15-minute shower saves this much water, and that can save this much money and be, helpful and sustainable for this reason, okay? Show some sort of mathematical backing for that data is actually usable for something. The completion dates for each of these different portions are shown on here. So make sure you're getting those things completed. And whenever you complete some part, you're just going to share it and keep it in your folder. And that's already shared with us so we can see everything there. As always, the EDP is going to guide this. And I put here, ask, imagine, plan, create, and improve specific to this project. So your ask is how well does the general public understand what sustainability means and so forth and so on. Reading through this will help you get an understanding of what your actual project is. Stemposium is going to be virtual again this year. So we're going to ignore this old information about Stemposium, and I'll get you that info as we get closer. I've given you some resources specifically for doing some software editing, like some free software to edit your video, your PSA, to put all your different parts together. Now, that being said, y'all are better at this than I am. So I absolutely believe that you can do this without my help. But I did want to make sure that just in case y'all aren't adept at editing a bunch of videos or something like that, that you have some resources to help you out with it. This brings you back to the master spreadsheet that shows your groups and your folders and all that stuff. Here are your 3 poster templates. Use whichever one of those you want. And there is also a project rubric to help you see everything that we'll be looking for your projects. Now, I wanted to try to make y'all's presentation fairly quick and to the point. You need to read through this document and make sure you're including all of the things that you need to include. Okay? This is an overview, not everything associated with it. So please make sure you're doing that. Your next action items will be to complete what's here on this original document as far as reaching out to your group members, starting your student contact info document, emailing them, making sure you're communicating and planning that first meeting where then you can get into your class project introduction. That's what you should be getting going with now. And from there, you can further develop your project based on the timeline that we've set up. If you have questions for your STEM mentors or your STEM teacher mentors or me or anybody else, please let me know. We're happy to answer them. If you have any questions right now, fire away. I'm happy to hear them. If you don't have any questions and you understand that, you feel good about where we're at, then have a great day. Thanks for being here. See ya.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
I'm not sure if I'm on the wrong document, but I don't see my name on the groups list.
Did you go to the junior tab at the bottom?
Yeah, the email that you sent out, that's the one I clicked on to see the groups.
Did you go to the junior tab at the bottom? I think that email document starts with the freshman tab.
Oh, that might be it. I misread.
Look at this right here and make sure you're on the junior tab at the bottom.
All right.
Katie, I see you have a question. Sorry. And Kadar, check that and I'll get back to you in just a sec if you still have questions. And Photoshop. Yep, 100%. Good call. Good call. And that's something new. And that could be really helpful too, for sure. Veronica, what's up?